Hey, it's Ramey here at the UMI Race Shop with the build team, Dustin Houts, Dave Albeck. You saw them build the 1978 Cutlass. This time we're going to mix it up a little bit with a 1979 C10 truck, AKA the Big 10. So this is the Big 10 version. Dave, tell us where we got this truck.
Yeah, so we were lucky enough to find this for sale at a local museum, about 40,000 miles. Just happened to luck into it, and it's gonna be a perfect candidate to run our Stage 2 setup. That's gonna be 4.5-inch drop in the front, utilizing spindles and springs. Also gonna have our sway bar out front. Out back, we're gonna have a flip kit, shock extenders, and also run our UMI Performance rear sway bar. That's gonna net us 6 inches out back. In this episode, we're gonna be focusing on the front.
The cool thing about UMI's Stage 2.5 kit is it actually doesn't require a frame notch. We build and sell the frame notch kit, but the Big 10 we chose not to notch so that we can return it back to original condition.
All right, guys, enough of this chit chat. Let's get started. I'd like to start out with undercoating. Undercoating, undercoating, undercoating. This truck has 17 layers of undercoating on it, just so you know. So if you see underneath the truck, there's probably gonna be some undercoating. First thing we gotta do is get these old wheels and tires off this truck. They've been sitting a long time. And that gets out of the way so we can start tearing into the front end. Start by removing the caliper.
You can see this truck was pretty well taken care of. Components come apart pretty easy. That tie rod end, piece of cake. Disassembling these spindle nuts and using a transmission jack to take the pressure off that lower arm.
So we'll get the spindle off here. Dave helping me out. I actually smashed my finger there. As the spindle and the rotor spin, I smashed my finger and almost dropped it on my toe. Now the spindle's out of the way, we'll get this old tired front coil spring over. Handing it off to my left-hand man, Dave, who sometimes he just stands in the background and fiddle farts around. We noticed whenever we drove this truck home that it kind of pulled to the one side there, so what we had figured was a collapsed brake line. So while we're in here removing all the steering components, we're going to swap out that caliper for a new factory caliper. Hopefully later do some upgrades.
Here you can see the UMI 6452F lowering spring going in. It's quite a bit shorter than a factory unit, so install was pretty easy. It doesn't take a spring compressor. Our 1973 to 1987 square body kits, lowering kits, include CPP CP4S4 spindles, 2.5-inch lowering, satin black powder coated for rust resistance, and these actually pair very nicely with our 6452F lowering springs. 2-inch lowering here, 2.5 here on the spindles for a total of 4.5-inch lowering, which goes into our 4.5-6 lowering kits. The spindles we provide utilize a 1.25-inch thick rotor.
Some of the trucks come with that, some do not. We give a parts breakdown of the parts you're going to need to upgrade that if needed on your case.
So we gotta put our Vikings in there. We like to show you how tough they really are to pull out. If you adjust them properly, they'll pop right out. That was my bad.
The Viking shocks have long been one of our premium upgrades here at UMI Performance. Shout out to our friends at Viking. Part number B215 for the front and B274 for the rear. If you use the B215 shocks on the front, we have a stud kit as well, part number 6493. If you use them on the rear, we have a stud kit, 6494. And you also want to try the 6411 shock relocation brackets if you're using a lowered truck. They have 19 clicks of compression and 19 clicks of rebound adjustment, so you can dial in your handling and it'll work pretty awesome. So some 1973 to 1987 square body trucks came with no front sway bar. So this bracket allows you to mount the sway bar to the truck. This goes to the chassis, bushing goes here. The neat thing about the 6445s is the height. So they're actually a little bit shorter than stock from here to here. That allows you to have the sway bar sitting nice and level, even with a lowered truck. If you're going to use our other part number, 6444, you can use that on a standard height truck. Say you just buy the UMI sway bar kit, use the 6444, it'll keep that nice and level. This bar is 1 3/8" diameter, nice and stiff, but not too stiff. Really flattens the truck out during cornering, makes it not wobble so much side to side. Good stuff. Comes with greasable polyurethane bushings here, poly end links, so performance upgrade on that over rubber. You can also use the billet 90048 brackets to upgrade. Greasable once again, built aluminum, pretty awesome stuff.
A real nice thing about the sway bar is it also attaches to your factory lower A-arm, and UMI we also sell lower A-arms for the truck, which attaches as well.
As you can see, this truck was in great shape, but an enormous amount of undercoating under here, so everything went on really nice and gives us some great upgrades in the brake department and the suspension department, especially utilizing those Viking 19 wedge and double adjustables. On our next episode of the Truck Build Series, we're going to be disassembling the rear, installing all of our 2.5 rear end components, and getting this truck finished up for Carlisle Trucks. Going to be a great show out there, one of the biggest truck shows on the East Coast. Truck's going to be out for display at our big rig.
Follow along on our YouTube channel to check out the Truck Build Series as well as other build series. We release new content monthly. Like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, you can check out umiperformance.com.